In December 1996, the world lost one of its most beloved scientists, Carl Sagan. Yet behind his public image of warmth, curiosity, and genius, there were aspects of his life that few people truly knew. At 76, his wife finally spoke about the man she knew privately, revealing struggles, fears, and choices that shaped both his brilliance and his personal life. Carl Sagan is remembered for teaching humanity to look up at the stars with wonder. But his wife's reflections show that behind the charm and intellect, he was human in every sense, vulnerable, flawed, and sometimes overwhelmed by the pressures of life. While the media often celebrated his achievements, the personal challenges he faced as a father, husband, and man of science were largely hidden. Over decades, his private struggles were kept secret, and only now, 3 decades after his passing, is a fuller picture emerging. These revelations do not diminish his contributions. Rather, they offer a more complete understanding of a man whose curiosity about the universe was matched by complex personal experiences. Carl Sagan was born on November 9, 1934, in Brooklyn, New York, in a neighborhood called Bensonhurst. His parents were Ukrainian Jewish immigrants who had endured hardship during the Great Depression. His father, Samuel, had previously been a tailor, but took any work he could find to provide for his family. His mother, Rachel, carried deep sorrow from her own experiences and the loss of her mother during childbirth. Carl grew up in a small apartment, raised in the Reform branch of Judaism, which encouraged curiosity and open-mindedness. From a very young age, Carl was fascinated by the world around him. A visit to the 1939 New York World's Fair left a lasting impression on him. He saw futuristic inventions like air conditioners, robots, and the first televisions, which made him feel that the future was something within reach. This sense of wonder stayed with him throughout his life and shaped his view of science as a gateway to understanding the universe. By the time he was 5, he was asking profound questions about the stars, which led his mother to give him a library card and allow him to explore knowledge independently. Even a mistaken book about movie stars could not deter his curiosity. The right book, once found, revealed to him that stars were suns, each unimaginably far away, and it left him with a sense of awe that would guide his life's work. Carl's academic life began early. His family later moved to New Jersey and he attended Rahway High School. He graduated at the age of 16, a remarkable achievement that reflected his intelligence and dedication. Despite his academic talent, Carl often felt like an outsider. His mind was always elsewhere, pondering the universe rather than fitting in with classmates. Even as a teenager, he explored profound ideas, writing thoughtful pieces on topics like space, time, and poetry. He joined the National Honor Society and the Chemistry Club, yet he remained deeply contemplative, always questioning the world around him. In 1951, he entered the University of Chicago on a full scholarship, an opportunity that allowed him to explore science alongside literature, philosophy, and art. He read Shakespeare while learning physics and studied under Nobel Prize winners. Carl's education nurtured not only his scientific mind, but also his ability to connect scientific understanding with the human experience. This combination of knowledge and imagination would define his later work, allowing him to communicate complex ideas in ways the general public could understand. His time at Chicago was filled with curiosity, experiments, and a sense that the universe was waiting for discovery. By the late 1950s, Carl's career was advancing rapidly. He earned his PhD in astronomy and astrophysics, focusing on the planet Venus. At a time when many scientists believed Venus might host life, Carl's calculations revealed that it was, in fact, a scorching desert with temperatures nearing 800 degrees. His predictions were later confirmed by NASA's Mariner 2, proving his insight and analytical ability. Carl's work extended beyond planetary science. He participated in early efforts to search for extraterrestrial intelligence, supporting initiatives that used radio telescopes to detect signals from other worlds. These early experiments, though controversial among some scientists, reflected Carl's belief that life beyond Earth was not only possible, but likely. His career was marked by risk-taking, such as his involvement with secret government projects like Project A-19, which explored military uses of space technology. While these actions sometimes placed him in difficult positions, they also demonstrated his willingness to challenge conventions in pursuit of discovery. Carl's intelligence was coupled with a relentless curiosity that often led him into uncharted scientific territory, setting him apart from many of his contemporaries. Despite his professional brilliance, Carl Sagan's personal life was more complicated. He married 3 times and had 5 children, yet he struggled to balance the demands of his career with the responsibilities of family. His first marriage to Lynn Margulis produced 2 sons but ended in divorce by 1964. According to accounts, Carl's intense focus on science often created tension at home, leaving his spouse to handle most domestic responsibilities. His second marriage to Linda Salzman produced 1 child, Nick, but eventually faltered as Carl's work and personal choices caused strain. Even in his final marriage to Anne Druyan, which began under extraordinary circumstances during the Voyager project, Carl's fame and professional dedication sometimes made him distant as a father. Across these marriages, his children often felt overshadowed by their father's public persona, struggling to find their own identities. Carl's brilliance inspired millions worldwide, but his personal life illustrates the challenges that can accompany extraordinary talent, reminding us that even geniuses wrestle with ordinary human difficulties. Carl's public career reached its peak with the television series Cosmos, which premiered in 1980. Unlike any science show before it, Cosmos combined storytelling, visual effects, and Carl's poetic voice to make science accessible and exciting. The series reached hundreds of millions of viewers worldwide, winning awards and inspiring countless individuals to look up at the stars. Beyond Cosmos, Carl wrote influential books including Contact, The Demon-Haunted World, and Dragons of Eden, which explored science, skepticism, and humanity's place in the universe. His work often challenged conventional thinking, confronting pseudoscience and encouraging critical inquiry. Carl's ability to combine rigorous science with wonder made him a bridge between the academic world and the general public. He was respected by colleagues yet admired for his empathy and curiosity, showing that science could be both rigorous and inspiring. Even as he became a global figure, he remained committed to exploring the unknown, whether searching for extraterrestrial life or contemplating the fragility of Earth. At the same time, Carl was not without controversy. He spoke out against nuclear weapons, chemical warfare, and environmental destruction, often attracting scrutiny from the government. The FBI monitored him, concerned about his influence and outspoken opinions. Carl also explored marijuana use, which he described as enhancing his perception of art, music, and science. These personal choices, while controversial at the time, reflected his willingness to explore both the universe and human consciousness in unconventional ways. Despite criticism, Carl continued to advocate for scientific literacy, urging people to think critically and question assumptions. His commitment to truth and curiosity often put him at odds with authority, yet it also reinforced the importance of independent thought and moral courage in science. One of Carl's most poetic contributions came in 1990 with the pale blue dot photograph, taken by Voyager 1 from 6 billion kilometers away. He reflected on the image, noting that Earth appeared as a tiny speck in a sunbeam, emphasizing humanity's fragility and the shared responsibility to care for our planet. This message, simple yet profound, captured the essence of Carl Sagan's philosophy. Science is not just about knowledge, but about perspective, humility, and wonder. Alongside his scientific work, his personal life, though complicated, revealed a man deeply committed to discovery, love, and connection. His relationships, challenges, and occasional mistakes humanized him, reminding us that even extraordinary individuals navigate ordinary struggles. In the final years of his life, Carl faced serious health challenges, including a rare blood disease. Yet even as he confronted mortality, he remained dedicated to his work, inspiring those around him and continuing to explore the cosmos. His wife's later reflections shed light on the private dimensions of his life, his fears, regrets, and joys that were often hidden from public view. By understanding both the personal and professional sides of Carl Sagan, we gain a more complete picture of a man whose curiosity knew no bounds. He inspired millions to look up at the night sky, to question, and to seek understanding. The revelations about his life do not tarnish his legacy. They deepen it, showing that genius can coexist with human complexity. Carl Sagan's life is a testament to curiosity, courage, and the human spirit. He demonstrated that science is not only a tool for understanding the universe, but also a way to connect with humanity and inspire wonder. Through his writings, television programs, and advocacy, he changed the way people perceive the cosmos. Yet behind the achievements, his personal life reminds us that even great minds face struggles, that love and family can be complicated, and that the pursuit of knowledge often comes with sacrifice. The story his wife shares adds nuance and depth, allowing us to appreciate Carl Sagan not just as a scientist, but as a man who experienced life in all its complexity. His legacy endures in the minds and hearts of those he inspired to dream, question, and marvel at the stars. Carl Sagan's life reminds us that even extraordinary individuals are human, and their legacy is shaped as much by personal trials as by professional accomplishments. Carl Sagan was born on November 9, 1934, in Brooklyn, New York, in the Bensonhurst neighborhood. His parents, Samuel and Rachel Sagan, were Ukrainian Jewish immigrants who had faced severe hardships during the Great Depression. Samuel had once been a tailor, but eventually took any job he could to support the family, while Rachel struggled with the emotional weight of past losses, including her own mother's death during childbirth. Carl grew up in a small apartment where books and curiosity were encouraged. His exposure to the Reform branch of Judaism promoted questioning and learning, values that shaped his later approach to science and philosophy. At the age of 4, he visited the 1939 New York World's Fair, witnessing futuristic inventions such as air conditioners, robots, and televisions. This early experience sparked his fascination with science and technology, igniting a lifelong desire to explore the universe. The fair represented a future of possibilities, and it left an indelible impression on young Carl. By 5, he was already asking profound questions about the stars, which led his mother to provide him with a library card. An early mistake by a librarian, giving him a book about movie stars instead of real stars, did not deter him. Once he received the correct book, Carl learned that stars were distant suns, which filled him with a sense of wonder and awe that never faded. Carl's academic brilliance quickly became apparent. His family later moved to New Jersey, where he attended Rahway High School. Graduating at 16, he excelled academically while often feeling socially isolated. His peers could not always understand his intense curiosity, and his teachers recognized his unusual talents. He wrote profound essays on topics such as space, time, and human imagination, showing an early ability to combine science and philosophy. In 1951, Carl entered the University of Chicago on a full scholarship, immersing himself in a multidisciplinary education that blended literature, philosophy, and science. He read Shakespeare, studied psychology, and attended lectures by Nobel laureates, all while pursuing physics and astronomy. This combination of rigorous science and wide-ranging curiosity shaped the way he would later communicate complex concepts to the public. His time at Chicago was marked by relentless exploration, from scientific experiments to philosophical inquiries, and it established the foundation for a lifetime of discovery. After earning his PhD in astronomy and astrophysics, Carl focused on Venus, a planet many scientists of the time thought might harbor life. Using mathematical models and computer simulations, he demonstrated that Venus was a scorching desert with temperatures approaching 800 degrees, a prediction later confirmed by NASA's Mariner 2 mission. This achievement cemented his reputation as a meticulous and insightful scientist. Beyond planetary studies, Carl was deeply invested in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. He collaborated on early efforts to detect signals from other civilizations, advocating for the scientific exploration of possibilities that many considered speculative. Even in his youth, Carl took risks in his career, such as participating in secret government projects like Project A-19, which explored military applications of space technology. His willingness to push boundaries defined much of his scientific journey, establishing him as a thinker unafraid to challenge norms in pursuit of knowledge. While his career flourished, Carl's personal life was complicated. He married 3 times and had 5 children, navigating relationships that were often strained by his intense focus on science. His first marriage, to Lynn Margulis, produced 2 sons but ended in divorce in 1964. Lynn later described the marriage as difficult, noting Carl's preoccupation with work and attention-seeking behaviors. His second marriage, to artist Linda Salzman, produced one son, Nick, but also faced challenges as Carl's focus remained on his scientific pursuits. Despite the complexities, his third marriage to Anne Druyan would become a lasting partnership, though it began under extraordinary circumstances during the Voyager Golden Record project. Even in this marriage, balancing fame, work, and family responsibilities required constant effort. Carl's children often felt the weight of their father's public persona, struggling to carve out their own identities while living in the shadow of his achievements. These personal challenges reveal that genius does not exempt one from ordinary human struggles, highlighting the delicate balance between ambition and family life. Carl Sagan's impact on public understanding of science reached unprecedented heights with the 1980 television series Cosmos. Combining storytelling, vivid visuals, and Sagan's gentle, poetic voice, the show introduced millions of people to the wonders of the universe. Cosmos made complex topics accessible, inspiring viewers of all ages to explore space and think critically about their place in the cosmos. Alongside Cosmos, Sagan authored influential books such as Contact, The Demon-Haunted World, and Dragons of Eden. His writings often challenged pseudoscience and encouraged skepticism, advocating for evidence-based thinking. By blending scientific rigor with humanistic insight, Carl connected with audiences far beyond the academic world. He became not only a respected scientist but also a cultural icon, demonstrating that curiosity and imagination are as essential as empirical knowledge. Carl was also deeply committed to social and political causes. He spoke out against nuclear weapons, chemical warfare, and environmental destruction, often attracting government scrutiny. The FBI monitored his activities due to his outspoken advocacy, reflecting the tension between scientific authority and political power. He also explored marijuana use, describing its effects on perception, creativity, and scientific thinking. These personal choices, controversial at the time, illustrate Carl's willingness to explore unconventional paths in both mind and science. Throughout his life, he remained a vocal proponent of critical thinking, urging society to question assumptions, investigate evidence, and reject fear-based beliefs. His moral courage was evident not only in scientific pursuits but also in public advocacy, exemplifying a commitment to knowledge, truth, and human progress. One of Sagan's most iconic moments came in 1990 with the pale blue dot photograph. Taken by Voyager 1 from 6 billion kilometers away, he reflected on the image, noting that Earth appeared as a tiny speck in a sunbeam, emphasizing humanity's fragility and shared responsibility. This poetic vision captured the essence of Sagan's philosophy. Science is not merely knowledge. It is perspective, empathy, and wonder. Through his writing, television appearances, and advocacy, Carl invited millions to see themselves as part of a larger universe, connected by curiosity and a shared responsibility to care for our planet. His insights continued to inspire both scientists and the general public, showing that knowledge is most powerful when paired with imagination and ethical reflection.